Laxon. I'm your dad instructor. Welcome to this lesson on how to install Flutter. Flutter is an open source framework for building mobile applications for iOS and Android. In this tutorial, we'll go through the steps to set up Flutter on your computer, including installing the necessary software and configuring your environment. To get started, let's go to flutter.dev. From here, you go to Get Started. On this page, it's going to ask you to select the operating system that you're using. So if you're using Mac, you select this, or if you're using one of these operating systems, you can select. I'm using Windows, so I'm going to select Windows. And on this page, it's going to tell you the minimum system requirement, I would say, that you need for you to install Flutter on your machine, or for you to run Flutter on your machine. So these are this is the information that's highlights everything. There's an operating system, there's a disk space which is supposed to be like 1.6 GB, and there are tools that's also supposed to be available on your machine as you're installing Flutter. So you need Windows PowerShell. You also need Git for Windows. So for PowerShell, Windows 10 already comes with PowerShell. Then for Git, you have to download Git. So all you have to do is just open this link in a new tab. So like this. So from here, you can just select 64-bit Git for Windows setup. You just click here. It's supposed to automatically start downloading. I don't know what's happening with my internet. Okay, so it's start downloading just like that. So I already have a Git on my machine, so I don't need to download this. So I will just go to the folder here. So I've already downloaded Git on I've already downloaded Git. So I have to do like is once you download the Git software, you have to install it. So let's install it. So from here you just double click, then you pretty much accept everything the way they are. Just go with everything the way they are. Okay, so now that it's done installing, let's click finish and check whether Git has been installed. So for us to do that, we can use PowerShell, or we can use command prompt. So I'm going to use PowerShell. So all you have to do now is just type git version. So we're trying to check the version that's installed. So it's going to show you Git version 2.38.1 if it's installed, or it will show you something the latest version, because this version is an old version. I downloaded it a long time ago. So it will show you Git version and the version that you have downloaded, as you can see here. So let's go back to our page. So now that we've installed Git, let's go to the next step. So what's the next step? So the next step is saying download the following installation bundle to get the latest stable release of Flutter SDK. So what we are supposed to do, we're supposed to download the Flutter Windows SDK zip file here. So you have to do is just click this. So like as for me, I already have it on my machine. I downloaded it a long time ago. So we just have to, so this is the zip file. So from here, we go now to the next step. So it's telling us to extract the zip file and place the content Flutter in the desired installation location for the Flutter SDK. So it even gave us something like an example, which is supposed to be like in disk C. So what we can do, we can extract this zip file. I have Winner on my machine, so we can easily do this. So extract files. So here I'm gonna head to local disk C here. So local disk C has been selected, and these guys say that we can just do this. So I'm gonna extract it in local disk C, and I'm gonna create a folder src. Then I just okay. Then you have to wait for it to complete extracting the files. Okay, so now that the process is done, so if we want to start running Flutter commands in the regular Windows console, what we are supposed to do, we're supposed to make sure that Flutter is added to the path environment. So for us to do that, we have to make sure that we have to go to the folder where we have extracted our Flutter SDK. So this is RSC, as you can see here. So we go to Flutter, as you can see here. Then from here, we go to bin. Then we just copy this directory here. So we copy it, then we search for edit. So just type edit environmental environment environment variables. Then it's going to show you something like this. Then you can open it. Then from here you go to path, you edit, then you enter. So this one is not supposed to be there. That was the old Flutter. So we can just say new, then we paste the directory here, the new directory. Then you just say OK, then you say OK again. So now for us to check whether Flutter has been installed successfully. So what you're supposed to do, you can just open command prompt, or you can just open PowerShell or something, but I'm going to use command prompt. So from here, you can just type Flutter. So as you can see here, it will show you these commands, it will tell you all these things, and it will welcome you to Flutter. So this is an old, like I said, this is an old SDK that I downloaded. So that's why it's saying a new version of Flutter, but yours, it's not going to tell you that. It should just welcome you, just say welcome to Flutter. Yes. So now Flutter is installed. Let's go back to the to the documentation. So we have already updated Flutter to the path. So now what we're supposed to do now, so we are supposed to run this command, Flutter Doctor, to see if there are any platform dependencies we need to install that are required for us to create a Flutter application or for us to run Flutter. So what you're supposed to do, you can just copy this, you can just copy our Flutter Doctor, then you go to your terminal, then you just paste, or you can just type Flutter Doctor, then you hit enter. So it's going to run to check whether all the tools are available. If they are not available, it will tell you what you're supposed to install or what's missing. So as you can see here, there are certain things that are missing here. As you can see, it tells you that and what is Android? Android Studio is not installed, so Android Studio is required for us to be able to develop for Android platform. So there's Android toolchain developed for Android devices, Android SDK version 33 point what. So no Java development kit. So these are some of the things that are needed for us to have our environment set. So for us to do this, we have to install Android Studio. So if we go down here, you're gonna see where it's saying install Android Studio. So download and install Android Studio. So all we have to do is just open this link in the new tab. Then you click where it's saying download Android Studio. So as for me, I already have it installed on my machine, or actually it's not installed. I already have the setup, so we can just go back to the folder. So this is my Android Studio. So I just have to install it. So when it's done downloading, you just have to double click so that we can install the setup. So it takes time for it to install. So you just have to be patient with it. Okay, so from here you click next, then you click, you make sure that this thing is checked, then you say finish. So now that our Android Studio has been installed, so remember, uh, so just a minute, you have to check whether the Android Studio is has like if Flutter can detect the Android Studio. So you have to go back and enter Flutter Doctor to check. So as you can see, everything is installed right now. Everything is okay. So in your case, there'll be certain things that will be needed for you, because the reason why this right now it's saying everything is set, it's because I had Android Studio on my machine. I just uninstalled it so that I can walk you through this. So what I'm going to do here now, I'm going to show you how you can set up the Android emulator for it to be available for the editor that you'll be using to create Android applications or iOS applications. So to prepare to run and test your Flutter app on the Android emulator, you have to make sure that the VM acceleration on your machine is enabled. So for you to check if it's enabled, you just have to right click here. If you're using Windows, you go to Task Manager and you go to Performance. Then here where it's saying virtualization, it's supposed to say enabled. If it's not enabled, it will be very difficult for you to run an Android emulator. So I'll create another video on how you can enable virtualization on a computer, on your computer. So for now, let's launch an Android Studio. Or let's create create a virtual device that will be using for us to uh, test or run our Android, the Android applications that we'll be developing. So for us to do that now, we have to go to here, as you can see here. So let me just do this so that you guys should be able like to, let me just do this. Let me just, so you go on tools and you go where it's saying device manager. So this is device manager. So if it's not open, like the way it is right now, you go tools and you click device manager, then it's going to show you something like this. Though when you click it, it's not going to show all these devices that are down here. So these are some of the devices that I created. So what you're supposed to do, you're going to have something that's empty here. So you have to like click where it's saying create device. Then from here, there are different types of device categories. There are phones, tablets, wear OS. So this is something to do with something that you can wear. There's TV and there's automotive. So if you're developing an Android application or something for a mobile phone, you just go on phone, then you can select the phone that you want to go with. So in this case, I'm going to choose Pixel 4a. Then from here, I'm going to click next. And from next, there are different operating system that you can choose from. Here, you can either you have to download one, something that you can test. So in this case, I'm going to use the same one that's on top here that I already downloaded, because the operating system is pretty much maybe around like some they depend. Some of them they're like 700 MB, just like that. So this one I'm going to select the one that I have, but if in your case, I'm sure you won't have any that's installed, so you have to download one of them. You just click where it's saying download. So you just click select one, then you say next. Just leave everything the way they are, and just leave everything the way they are. Then you just finish. Say finish like this. Then it's gonna show here, as you can see here. So we were creating a Pixel 4a API 33. So this is the one that we created. So for now, you can close you can close Android Studio, sorry. And let's go back to the installation. So we have already talked about the emulator here. So if you want, you can still come through the documentation and go through this. Then there's this also on how you can actually learn more about VM accelerations and all that stuff like that. So this is a simple documentation. I'll also try to add it in the LMS so that you can be able like to click and follow. Okay, so the then the other thing that you have to also look at is you have to agree to the Android licenses. So what you're supposed to do, you have to enter this command. For you to use Flutter, you have to agree to the Android licenses. So you have to enter this command. So you can either copy it, go to the terminal, then you paste it there. So when you paste, what will happen is that I've already like accepted all of them. So it will tell you what you're supposed to do to accept. You're supposed to be entering like Y. Y stands for yes. So that's what you're supposed to do until everything finishes. That's what you're supposed to do. So like in my case, everything has already been accepted. That's the reason why it's saying license is already accepted. So that's the thing. So from here now, we're supposed to set up an editor. So the different types of editors that you can use is VS Code, there's Android Studio and IntelliJ and others. So in this tutorial, mostly we'll be using Visual Studio Code, and to me, I would say it's one of the best editors that you can use. It's a lightweight, it's something that's simple. When you look at it, you won't be confused. So I would recommend you guys downloading VS Code. So what you can do, you can just click here and download VS Code here. So I already have it on my machine. I've already downloaded it. So I don't want to waste your time for you guys to wait for me, like wait for me to download the VS Code. So you can just uh, go to. So what you're supposed to do, you can just download the VS Code here. You download it here where we're saying download for Windows. I already have it on my machine, so I'm gonna go to where the setup is. So this is my setup. I already downloaded it. So what you're supposed to do, just click, you open it so that you can start the installation. So you agree to the license terms. So next, just make sure that here we're saying add to path. It's checked. So next. Okay, so now that it's done, you can just click finish. So it's not gonna open this. So like I said, I had Android, I had VS Code on my machine. So it's just picked up where I left, I would say. So in your case, it's going to show you something like this. Just a minute, let me close this. Once you open it, so it's gonna open something like this. It's not going to like show you these things. Let me just clear them up. Clear recent. Okay, so we have to install here. Let me just do this. Let me just uninstall it or something. Okay, so now that we're done with the licenses, so what you're supposed to do now, the next step is us installing an editor that we'll be using for us to develop or create Flutter applications. So I'm gonna recommend VS Code because through this course, I'm sure everyone, all the Dart instructors will be using VS Code. So and plus it's a lightweight editor. I would say it's very easy to use. When you just look at it, you won't get confused. So it's something that I would say you guys should use. And actually, this is what I use when I'm working. So just open VS Code in a new tab, and for you to download, you just have to click here where it's saying download for Windows. I'm not gonna click this because I already have it on my machine. So just I'll go to the download folder. So this is my VS Code setup. So let's just open it and install it. So you have to make sure that you accept all the like you have to accept the agreement or the licenses. I would say it's a license, I think, or these are terms of actually these are terms of use. So you have to accept this, and you just install everything. Make sure that where it's saying add to path, it's checked so that it's added to path. Okay, yeah, so that's it. So let's just wait for it to finish installing. Okay, let's launch it. Okay, now that VS Code is up and running, so what we're supposed to do is supposed to go where it's saying extensions, and we search for Flutter. So this is the yes, it's up here. It's supposed to say install. I already downloaded this installer, so you just click install where to say install. Then that's it. So that's it for this video. So in the next video, I don't want to make this video long. So in the next video, what we're gonna do, we're gonna learn how to create our face application. So we're gonna actually in the next video, we're going to create our face application using Flutter, and we're gonna run it using the emulator that we installed. Thank you for watching, guys. See you in the next video.